Now we're outside of Jokke Sommer's apartment, and I'm very super stoked because I'm a super huge fan of Jokke Sommer, and it turned out that Brage knew Jokke, so he hooked us up with Jokke, and we called him, and now we're outside of his apartment, just about to go inside and meet the superstar.
My name is Jokke Sommer. I'm 28 years old from Oslo, and I'm a wingsuit proximity flyer. I know Brage since he was a little kid, actually, because his dad, he used to work as a kind of guy that took care of kids that were a little bit rebels, and he was taking care of me, and he was the one that kind of introduced me to extreme sports like motocross and things like this when I was at young age. You know, I was one of those kids that easily get judged for being like, yeah, they're never gonna grow up becoming anything. They're just like hyperactive, just wanna have fun and doesn't really care about all the things that a society says you should obey, you know? And a lot of those teachers, they even said, yeah, he's never gonna grow up to be anything, so we don't need to care more about him. And it was kind of like I was doing, what can you say, like I didn't really pay attention. I didn't really care about what the teachers were saying and all of those things. And that was when I was at the youngest, like 13, 14 and stuff. So I've known Arnebjørn since I was 13 years old and Brage since he was a little tiny kid. So it's really fun to see how he has been growing into doing now, and the way he's riding his bike is insane, you know, like I'm really impressed by what I've been seeing him doing, and I've been following him for so many years. So, but I kind of understood that, you know, like you can just play around until you hit a certain age, and then you need to get serious about it. So when I started in senior high, I became super serious, and I finished everything with a degree and all kinds of things before I started jumping.
Focusing when you have to focus.
Yeah.
And I guess also that's kind of like one of the keys to be successful in your sport.
Yeah.
To keep the focus when you have to keep the focus.
Mm.
But okay, so you were talking about like you were trying downhill snowboard and skateboarding and these things. So what brought you over to real flying?
That was it was the dream of flying in general, but what it started was actually a friend called me up and said, hey, I'm going to take this skydiving license. You want to join? And I was supposed to go and ride freestyle motocross with Andrea Villa down in Spain. Mm-hmm. But I kind of felt that if I'm going on that trip, I might get heavily injured, you know? So I kind of said
safer.
Yeah, or well, maybe not safer, but still it felt like now I had the chance to go on a course with someone else, so I'd choose that instead. And then I became addicted right away, you know. I just loved
But that was just normal skydiving, right?
That was just normal skydiving, yeah.
Tell us about the first ever base jump you had.
Yeah, the first jump, it was in Chirag, and I was standing up there, and I kind of felt confident, you know. I was like, okay, I think I can pull it off. But it was also this euphoria, you know, everything is so new, like just being up in the mountains and the mist is coming up and you're standing on the edge and okay, good time, you know? And the first time you step off, you're just used to, if you jump from a cliff, you're kind of used to hit something after maybe 10-15 meters on water, you know. Yeah. But here it just kept accelerating, you know, like, and then you saw these like big mountains around you. Yeah, it was quite unique feeling. Yeah. It was very fun. And the feeling when I landed, that's when I kind of realized that, okay, this is pretty amazing, this is pretty awesome. I think I'm going to stick to this. Yeah, my first wingsuit base was just the same, I was a bit nervous there for sure, but I was up there with a good friend and we just had a laugh. And when I jumped off, it was I kind of was just focusing on getting a nice exit, and I knew how it was going to feel, so I didn't feel so much different. It was just more just getting it done in the perfect way.
Then you were just trekking out from the mountain the first time, I guess.
Yeah. for a long time. I didn't want to get into proximity flying. It was just it came natural.
What is proximity flying?
Oh, that's when you fly close to the terrain and stuff, you know? When you fly with...
But that's kind of like a
small
new thing, isn't it? It didn't used to be like that. So you came in at the time where sort of base jumping changed into becoming more of a sport than just like an adrenaline kick, I think.
Yeah, now we're becoming flyers, you know? Yeah. Now we're getting to that step where you can actually fly your body. And you can fly just like a bird for that amount of time, you know? And before it was more about, falling and just getting off the thing, and the jump was the actual thing, and not just like nowadays I care just about flying my suit, flying in the mountains.
You're probably among one of the best wingsuiters in the world. But what's
Yeah, I'm only like on that particular thing, like proximity.
Yeah. It's a very small little margin in
Yeah, it's a very just small thing.
What is it that makes you so good?
No, I think I'm like, what can you say? I'm good to focus at stuff that interests me. And I think that I can be a little geeky about.
But it has to do with like fear and guts as well, right?
Yeah, but when you're flying, you're just flying on a flow, you know, you're just having that flow in your body, and it's kind of like meditation, and you just go through and you enjoy it. Like nothing is scary when you're in free fall. Right? It can be, but...
Have you had any like experiences where you thought, fuck it, man, like, you know, like where you really have to, where you don't think you're gonna make it?
Yeah, I had two incidents where I was pretty sure that now it's done. And
which one?
That's the shit ones, you know. That's what really hits you hard in the stomach when you realize that you were just about to leave, you know, and you're still here. And you learn a lot from it. It changed me a lot, my flying.
In what way?
I became safer in terms of pulling myself more away from that type of proximity flying. That was kind of like doing surgery on the wall. But that was kind of like what I was really liking at that time.
Closer the better.
Yeah, that was
how close do you go when you're like
now I don't go so close anymore. I don't. We used to do, but I can still fly close to stuff, but I try not to fly as much proximity as I used to do before. Because before that was just normal to do for me.
Yeah.
But now I want it to be something really special that I'm very well prepared for. And then I can accept it. But I can't accept it to just do it like on a regular basis anymore. Because then eventually you're going to hit.
Yeah. So when did you go pro?
2011.
How did that...
11, yeah.
Did that change the way you're performing the sport?
Yeah, I think it did. A lot. I was more just jumping, didn't care so much before, just hanging out. But now I really enjoy the business part of being a professional athlete, and just connecting with people in the world, you know, just seeing how big can we make this connection world become. And it's very interesting and see what's possible and what's not.
So in your sport, how is Norway represented?
Yeah, Norway is pretty good actually. We have Tom Erik Heimen, Espen Fadnes, and a couple of the other guys from NTNU up in Trondheim. They have been doing a lot of good stuff, and yeah, a lot of things have happened with the Norwegian base jumping history, and a lot of inputs like on the tracking suits that were invented by Norwegians. And or the modern style of tracking suits. So and now we have, you know, one of the best mountains in the world to jump off, and a lot of the jumpers from Norway are very well trained jumpers because they have this as their backyard. So Norway is definitely on top of the world in base jumping. We were at the World Cup in China now a couple of weeks ago, And Espen, he finished third, so we got a Norwegian on the podium. And I finished 15th. My dream was top 16 on that particular trip, because I know that everyone there, they have been training so much for that type of flying, and they have a faster suit and everything. So it's like I knew I couldn't be amongst the top, but if I made the top 16, then we made at least some money, and it's you get to the finals and it becomes a bit more fun. So I made my goal and I was stoked on that. It has definitely changed a lot since I started. Now it's more normal to fly close to terrain.
You ready?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
While when I was beginning, it wasn't really that many that did it, and that's also why I became known through my name, because there was no one else doing it almost. So we were just perfect timing in terms of social media and timing of the sport.
What changed after you got like super pro?
My traveling habits, like I've always wanted to travel and I always liked traveling, and that was definitely something that changed the most. When I became a professional, I started traveling a lot more, and now I'm having traveling as an addiction. It's not it's like a lot of people says home best, but away is okay, but home is best. But even though if I'm coming here, I'm home for just like 5 days, then I need to get away again. Now I need to go travel somewhere. And that is something I appreciate the most with this sport. It's just that I get to explore. And I get to explore myself as a human being and just grow into the world and see a lot of places, and just having that as an option, it's something I'm very thankful for. And I think that it's if it wouldn't have been for the sponsors, I wouldn't have had a chance to do that as much as I do.
Who are your main sponsors then?
My main sponsors are Red Bull, GoPro, and BetSafe. So they're the 3 ones.
Do you have any videos coming up? Do you have any projects in the loop?
Yeah, I do. I do have some there and here, but the first one now is the next Dreamline, which is something I do with Red Bull, and they're gonna make the fans choose my location, and then it's gonna be a voting after they can send it in. I'm picking the top 10, then they're gonna vote, and the one that wins, that person will be joining me on the trip, and then I will go there and do some flying and just find a new line.
Can you show us your equipment, the little suit that makes you able to fly?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I can do that. So this is pretty much it.
This is it.
That's the only thing.
Do your parents understand your wish to perform this sport?
Yeah, my parents love that stuff. They're big fans. So I'm happy that they understand what I do and that they actually appreciate it. I think they see that I live a life that I couldn't even have dreamt about, and I think for them that's more important than just that it's dangerous, because everything is dangerous in this world. There's a lot of obstacles out there. So, but at least I feel safe when I fly. I feel like that's when I have control.
Perfect. Thank you so much for having us over, Jokke.
No worries, dude. Thank you, man.
That was very awesome and not as scary as I thought it would be.
No, I'm pretty mellow, dude.
Yeah.
I'm nothing to worry about. But when you come back, say hi to Brage from me.
Of course. Brage.
You should do that. Cheers, guys.
Yeah, it was awesome.